Alright, today we are going to um, complete the notes on solving ratios and proportions. First we're going to be comparing ratios, and then we will work on solving the proportions. Alright, example 1 here, we are going to compare our ratios and see if they are equivalent or not. And remember, ratios are just fractions. So right here we've got 6/10, and we're going to compare that with 2/5. So the first thing we need to do is cross multiply here, and we're going to take that 10 and 2 and multiply that, and that gives us 20. And then we do the same thing over here, 6 times 5, multiply those, and that gives us 30. So as we see that 30 does not equal 20, so that means 6/10 is not equal to 2/5. And that means no, they are not equivalent ratios. Okay, let's look at the next one here. We've got 1/6, and we're comparing that to 5/30. So the first thing we need to do is cross multiply here. 6 times 5 would give us 30, and then multiply the other two. 1 times 30, that gives us 30. So since 30 equals 30, yes, these fractions are equivalent. All right, example 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to solve, and these are proportions. A proportion is just two fractions that are equal to each other. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before, which is cross multiply. So right here, x times 5 gives us 5x. And then we are going to multiply the 10 times 3, and that equals 30. And then we just solve this one-step equation. So we're going to divide by 5. Those will cancel out, and that gives us x equals 6. And then, of course, you can plug in your answer, which is called substitution, and check to make sure that it works out. All right, example 3. Now, this one's a little bit different because we've got two terms here in the denominator. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put parentheses around that, and that will show us that whenever we multiply here, that we have to distribute that 10 to both terms right there. So what it's going to look like is 10 times x minus 5. And then bring down the equals, and now we're going to multiply the other side. 15 times 4, that gives us 60. All right, and now we use the distributive property here. 10 times x gives us 10x. And then 10 times 5, or I'm sorry, 10 times negative 5, that gives us a negative 50, so we write minus 50. And then bring down the equals 60. And now we've got a simple two-step equation here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 50 to both sides. Those are going to cancel out. Bring down the 10x equals 60 plus 50 gives us 110. Divide by 10 on both sides. Those cancel out, and x equals 11. Now, to check this would probably be one that would be good to check here. We would have 10 over 15, and we're going to see, is it equal to 4 over, and now we're going to use the substitution method. The x is 11 minus 5. So that would give us 10 over 15. Does that equal 4 over 11 minus 5 gives us 6. And then we do just like we did in example 1, where we cross multiply, and 15 times 4, that gives us 60. And then 10 times 6, that gives us 60. So yes, this does check out, and that tells us that 11 is the correct solution. Okay, now our last example here. Now you'll notice that we have two variables, but the process is still the same. So I'm going to put parentheses around there and parentheses around this one. And then we are going to cross multiply. And it doesn't matter which diagonal you do first. Okay, so I'm going to take 9 and multiply it with the 5b plus 5. Bring down the equal sign, and then I'm going to do the other one, which is 3 times 9b minus 3. Okay, and now we've got an equation just like we were working with on Monday, where you've got variables on both sides of the equation. And as we remember, the first step is to distribute. So 9 times 5b gives us 45b. And then 9 times 5 gives us 45. And then do the other side. 3 times 9b gives us 27b. And then 3 times negative 3 gives us negative 9. And we write that as minus 9. So our first step was to distribute, and then we want to see if we can combine like terms. And I look on the left side, and there's no like terms. Look on the right side, there's no like terms. So then after that, we're going to move the variables. Remember, whenever you move it to the other side, we need to do the inverse. So right here, to get rid of that 27b, I need to subtract 27b. Those are going to cancel out. 45b minus 27b, that gives us 18b. Bring down the 45. Bring down the equal sign. And notice here, because that's a minus 9, I write that. When I bring it down, it's going to be a negative 9. Now to get rid of the plus 45, we need to subtract 45 on both sides. Okay, those are going to cancel out. That gives us 18b equals, and then a negative 9 minus 45 gives us a negative 54. And then we're going to divide by 18 on both sides. Those are going to cancel out, and b equals negative 3. And then let's go ahead and check our answer. Okay, to check, so I'm going to substitute that value back into the b's, all the b's of the equation, or the proportion. So that's going to be 9 times negative 3 minus 3 over 9. And we're going to see, does that equal to 5 times negative 3 plus 5 divided by 3. Alright, so now we follow our order of operations. I'm going to multiply first, so that gives us negative 27 minus 3 all over 9. And on the other side, we've got negative 15 plus 5 all over 3. Okay, now we're going to do the subtraction. Negative 27 minus 3 gives us negative 30 divided by 9. And then on the right side, that's negative 15 plus 5 gives us negative 10 over 3. So now that we have simplified those fractions, now we can do our cross multiplying to see if they are equivalent. So I'm going to do 9 times negative 10, which gives us negative 90. And then 3 times negative 30, that gives us negative 90. So we see that this does check out, and that b equals negative 3 is the correct answer. All right, if you've got any questions on any of these examples, please let me know tomorrow in class. Thank you and have a great night.